Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Another game from round 9 of the Tradewise Gibraltar Chess Festival 2016, the Masters section. As white, my buddy from the US, Carl Nakamura. And as black, a top Indian player. I can't pronounce his first name, but I'll give it a shot. Abhijit Gupta. Everybody knows who Gupta is. He's been around a little bit. He's getting up there, 26-13. Let's see how it goes. Nakamura is white, Gupta is black. It's going to be a Grunfeld. Typical Grunfeld stuff. Bishop, knight c3. It's a nice center that black has. Kind of what's happening is black is attacking white center long distance. Now finally black gets the e-pawn up. You could take. D5 is the preferred move, but not by much. Carl decides to push. C6. Of course, he's looking for white to take. Miss the center pawn and develop his knight, but of course Carl wasn't going to go for that. H4, right off the shoot. Now, Carl's in a small logjam in the first place section. He needs the win. This is round 9 in his 10 rounds, so this is the crunch time now. These are money rounds, all of them. He has to win. I think if Carl drew a couple of games he probably shouldn't have drawn. So he's kind of in a spot and he has to win. C takes, E takes, knight B to D7, H5. Carl's going for the juggler. Knight F6, pawn takes, pawn takes. Interesting. Didn't want to take it with the H pawn. Even though I think it's a better move. But oddly enough, according to the computer, that's the last book move. Carl castles long, queen to d6. Okay. Opposites like castling, so let's rock and roll. That's what usually happens. King to b1, I call that a grandmaster move because eventually you want to get your king off this open file. Bishop checks, king goes to a1. And that was the other thing. Once that bishop got there and the king was still here, the king would be basically stuck. Rook a to c8. g4, he's going for it. Now, this is something that, I remember when it happened, I watched it live on livestream.com. If you punch in Gibraltar chess, you'll be able to see all the rounds in its entirety. This is a calculated risk on Gupta's part. I'm not sure what his standings are, but of course everybody needs to win. And there's some decent prize money. So he decides, it is the first choice on the computer, not by much. The second choice on the computer is Bishop D7. He decides to take the knight. Queen takes, Rook C8. So now we're on. White's up the exchange, but it's less than a point on the computer, so that was a decent move. Now it's going to be really tricky. Carl took a long time in the next few moves because you have to get it just right. Queen E1. Get his queen out of the danger, plus cover the back rank. Queen of D2 is worth looking at, I think, because after Bishop D7, the bishop takes, queen takes, G5. I think that was worth looking at. But Carl decided to go queen to E1. Bishop C2, Rook to C1. Of course, now he's up the exchange. He wants to trade down as much as possible. E4. Trying to open things up. Of course, he wants them to take. And then knight takes, and there's another piece in the attack. Bishop D4 instead. Queen takes pawn. Those of you who were wondering if the knight took instead, after G5, knight H5, the bishop takes, knight takes, pawn takes, and that's it. It's over. I mean, it's 2.5 point advantage on the computer for white. So queen takes was the best move. Bishop C3. Try to close in your pieces around the king. He sacrificed the exchange. I think he's going too slow. He's going to have to step it up a little bit on the attack. Bishop D3. Knight H3. Now I think this is a very natural move for black, but unfortunately it's the wrong move. And it's a move that I think all of us would do. And that is knight to a4. And the points are piling up now for white. It's over a 2-point advantage. Bishop takes f1. Rook takes. E takes was the computer's choice. And I think black's okay. Not great, but I think he can survive this. But after knight a4, here comes the problems. Knight f4, hitting the queen and the bishop. Queen has to move. Knight takes. Pawn takes. The bishop takes. 2.5-point advantage for white. The attack is gone. The attack wasn't really there. It looked really good. He just didn't get his pieces in the attack fast enough. When you sacrifice like that, either a piece or the exchange, you better have some pieces coming in quick. Because the person that didn't sacrifice the piece and everything in their power just to stabilize the position. Queen b6. Queen had taken. Queen checks. And according to the computer, it's mate in 7. We go through the scenario, but you get the idea. King h8. Bishop takes f6. Rook takes check. It's just a disaster. Queen to b6. Bishop c2. Getting the pieces around the king. And that's where move 27. Gupta from India resigns. To give you an idea, after knight takes, bishop checks. Beautiful. See, that way he doesn't have to screw up his pawns. He puts in the intermezzo move, check, and that's the end. If B had taken instead, rook takes, queen takes, knight d5, and black can survive this. So the intermezzo move is what sealed it for Hikaru. So there it is, another game from round 9 of the Tradewise Gibraltar Chess Festival 2016. Hope you enjoyed it. The kid went for it. Gupta went for broken. And it happens. I've done it myself. We all have. So one more round to go. Hikaru is the defending champion. He won it last year. And there's quite a bunch up. I think there's going to be 4 players now. They're going to be tied for first, within striking distance, with the last round coming up. So let's see how it works out. There's a lot of them in there. Hikaru Nakamura, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, Hare Krishna, I believe a player called Anton from Spain, I believe he's from, young guy, he's in there too. These open tournaments, there's a lot of surprises. And I think that's why Hikaru plays in them more than most. Now, Anand played in this tournament and did really poorly. He drew 2 or 3 games, and I think he lost 2. And it happens. But it's different for Hikaru than the rest of the players, and I'll tell you what I mean. Hikaru grew up on open tournaments. He spent his youth learning the game in these open tournaments in the United States. And the way it works here is there's 2 or 3 rounds a day in these open Swisses, and anybody plays anybody in a lot of it. And you go against players you're not used to, or they maybe have a novelty that you haven't heard of, and it's rolling the dice. And I think Hikaru likes that because that's what he grew up on. So I think that's why Hikaru does better than a lot of the world-class players at these type tournaments, even though Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is doing very well as well. So we'll see how it turns out, but that's the game from round 9. I hope you enjoyed it. I want you to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.